Lee, and I was born on the 2nd of September 1914. I'm Stanley Charles Brown, and I've lived here all my life.
Right, so in the days you were out there with forestry, were the horses out there classed as wild horses at that time?
They just went around us, we didn't take notice of them. They gallop around pasture and this sort of thing.
And so they were actually wild horses, or they were definitely wild horses at the time?
There was wild horses there, but they got mixed a bit because when the boys were going to the 1914-18 war,
yeah,
some of them left their horses out there,
of course,
to pick them up when they came back.
That's right, and some of those young men didn't come back, did they?
No.
Was there ever any sort of discussion or whatever of where those wild horses would have originated from?
Well, what was handed down to me, like from our family, my great-grandfather, James Martin, was one of the first white men here, and this side of Nathalia, though, there's a patch there without many trees going out towards Macola.
Right.
And they used to call that the 9 Mile Plain.
Right.
But on that plain, as they called it, there was Brumbies, wild horses. And to keep the one way that they kept them horse numbers up, they used to go out there with a team of men, and they'd gallop the wild horses until the foals locked up, and then the foals would follow their horses home because their mothers would have galloped off.
Oh, right.
So that was one of the first things that I was told about the Brumbies that were here. Yeah, I would say the wild horses were here before we were. How the Yorta got control? Well, I can tell you how it started. I was a councillor in the Shire in here, and the Darnia Centre down there, we had to have a representative there, so I was it. And we had a committee that was made up of half whites and half black, and it was chaired by the Forest Commission, and of course there was Bangerangs, they were the original tribe.
Yes.
And there were some Yortas and some Bangerangs on their crew, and one night we're down there, and one of the Yorta fellas said, "I don't like this committee, I can't get my points across." Well, we just won the Westpac Bank Award for the two cultures working together. And I got up and said I didn't think we were doing too badly, like we just...
Yeah.
Well, and John, you know John Atkinson? Sandy? He got up and supported what I said. Well, that was like pouring petrol on fire. The Yorta fella grabbed his books and off.
Right.
And he went down to Crabb, who was then the Minister for Aboriginal Affairs. What he told him, of course, we don't know. But all the fellas on the committee got a letter from Mr Crabb within a fortnight saying, "I'm dismissing this committee because it's no good if only half the people are going." Well, there was only one fellow not going. Yeah. And he said, "I'm handing the management over to Yorta." We went from here down to Tokemore through the forest one day, and when I was going along, I thought to myself, I wonder what the few generations from now are going to find when they come to have a look at the forest, because I can see a terrible difference in it now to what it used to be. Well, when we were out there cutting these logs, there's any amount of places through the forest you could drive around with a horse and gig. But now there's a lot of places you can't even walk. And it's a real mess, but